Very good morning to one and all. Today we will discuss on the topic sequence of real numbers. A sequence is a function where domain is the set of natural numbers and range is a subset of real numbers and is called a real sequence. If f is to n tends to r given by fx is equal to an, where an is the nth term of sequence, a sequence is usually denoted by an or sequence of an. Some examples are sequence of an is equal to sequence of 1 by n is equal to sequence of 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4, 1 by 5, dash dash dash. Sequence of an is equal to minus 1 n is equal to sequence of minus 1, 1, minus 1, 1, dash dash dash. Sequence of n is equal to minus 1 की power n upon n is equal to sequence of minus 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 3, 1 by 4, dash dash dash. Now we will discuss some other examples of sequence. Now we take sequence of an is equal to 1 plus minus 1 n, which is equal to 0 to 0 to and so on. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of n is equal to sequence of 1, 2, 3 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of minus n is equal to minus 1, 2, minus 3, minus 4 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of minus 1 n is equal to minus 1, 2, minus 3, 4 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of n upon n plus 1 is equal to sequence of 1 by 2, 2 by 3, 3 by 4 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to 2 if n is prime and n if n is not prime is equal to sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 6, 2 and so on. We will put 2 if the number is prime and the number itself if the number is not prime. Now we will discuss about range of sequence. The number of distinct terms in the sequence is known as range of sequence. Now let's take some examples. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of 1 by n is equal to sequence of 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4 and 1 by 5. Its range set is 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to minus 1 n. Its range set is minus 1, 1. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of minus 1 n upon n is equal to sequence of minus 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 3, 1 by 4 and so on. Its range set is minus 1, 1 by 2, minus 1 by 3, 1 by 4 and so on. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of 1 plus minus 1 n is equal to sequence of 0 to 0 to 0 to and so on. Its range set is 0, 2. Now we will discuss about terms of sequence. Let n be a sequence, then a1, a2, a3 and so on, etc. all are terms of sequence. If the range set of a sequence is bounded, then the sequence is called bounded sequence. If the range set is finite, then there exists alpha belongs to R such that an is equal to alpha for infinitely many values of n. Let sequence of an is equal to sequence of 1 by n is equal to sequence of 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, 1 by 4 and so on. Its range set is 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and it goes up to 0. Therefore, it is a bounded sequence. Now take another example. Sequence of an is equal to minus 1 n is equal and its range set is minus 1, 1. Therefore, it is a bounded sequence. Now take another example. Sequence of 1 plus minus 1 n is equal to 0, 2, 0, 2, 0, 2 and so on. Its range set is 0, 2. Therefore, it is a bounded sequence. Now we will learn about unbounded sequence. A sequence is said to be unbounded if it is not bounded. Now take example. We take example of sequence of natural numbers, which is sequence of 1, 2, 3 and so on. Its range set is 1, 2, 3 and it goes up to infinity. Therefore, it is not a bounded sequence. Now take another example. Sequence of minus n. It is equal to sequence of minus 1, minus 2 and so on. Its range set is minus 1, minus 2 and it goes up to minus infinity. Therefore, its range set is not bounded and it is not a bounded sequence. Now take another example. Sequence of minus 1 and n. It is equal to sequence of minus 1, 2, minus 3, dash, dash, dash and so on. Its range set is minus 1, 2, minus 3 and so on. Its range set is not bounded. Therefore, it is not a bounded sequence. Now we will discuss about unbounded above sequence. If the range set of a sequence is not bounded above, it is called unbounded above sequence. Example, sequence of natural number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and up, it goes up to infinity, and it is called unbounded above sequence. Now we will discuss about unbounded below sequence. If the range set of a sequence is not bounded below, then the sequence is known as unbounded below sequence. Example is minus n. Sequence of minus n, it is sequence of minus infinity, minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. Now we will discuss about supremum and infimum of a sequence. Supremum and infimum of a range set of a sequence is called supremum and infimum of a sequence. Let's take some examples. Sequence of an is equal to minus 1 n. Range set is minus 1, 1. Here supremum is 1 and infimum is minus 1. Now take another example. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of n is equal to, and its range set is 1, 2 and it goes up to infinity. Supremum is infinity and infimum is 1. Now take another example. Sequence of an is equal to minus n. Range set is minus infinity and it goes up to minus 3, minus 2, minus 1. Supremum is minus 1 and infimum is minus infinity. Now take another example. Sequence of an is equal to sequence of 1 by n is equal to 1, 1 by 2, 1 by 3 and it goes up to 0. Here supremum is 1 and infimum is 0. Now we will learn some important results. If the sequence is unbounded above, then supremum of the sequence is infinity. If the sequence is unbounded below, then the infimum of the sequence is minus infinity. If the supremum and infimum of the sequence are finite, then the sequence is bounded. Now we will solve a question. The least upper bound of the sequence 1 minus 1 by n is. Here we are given with the sequence n is equal to 1 minus 1 by n. It can be written as n is equal to 1 minus 1 by n, 1, 1 minus 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 3 and it goes up to infinity, 1 minus 1 by infinity. Its range set is 0, 1 minus 1 by 2, 1 minus 1 by 3 and it goes up to 1. Range set goes up to 1. Clearly here least upper bound is 1. Least upper bound is also called supremum and supremum is 1. Therefore the correct answer is option C, which is 1. Now we will solve this question. Here we have to find the greatest lower bound of this given sequence. Now we will take 2 which lies between 0 and e. Now 2 to the power n lies between 0 and en. 0 and en. Now we will add en on both the sides. 2n plus en now we'll add them. We will get en less than equal to 2n plus en less than equal to 2en. Now we will take divide all the sides by 1 by n and into 1 by n 2n plus en power 1 by n less than 2 en power 1 by n. We will get e less than equal to 2n plus en power 1 by n less than equal to 2 1 by n e. Here we found that greatest lower bound, I mean infimum, is E. Therefore, correct answer is option A. Option A is correct. Here the solution is given in another. We can see the solution in detailed form in the slide. Now we will solve another question. Here question is let an is equal to sin pi by n for the sequence a1, a2 and so on, and then we have to find the supremum. Here it is given that an is equal to sin pi by n. Let take n is equal to 1. a1 is equal to sin pi by 1 is equal to 0. Now take n is equal to 2. a2 is equal to sin pi by 2 is equal to 1. Here we have to find the supremum, and it is clearly it is 1 and it is attained. Thank you and have a nice